remember the Moist teaching of non-aggression? Wage no war on the innocent. Serve no lords unjust.
Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making a video basically about the Murong, I think that's how her name is said. But I'm going to be making a video about her and how to defeat her in the most efficient way to do it possible, because a lot of people have, like, whenever you jump in and with the randoms or whatever the case may be, it's very hard to complete it when actually it's very simple mechanics. And so with that being said, we'll jump right into it. We'll jump right into the first mechanic. So basically the first mechanic is pretty simple. As you can see, there's two barrels on the screen and we move them away from each other. You will know that these barrels are on the map by the indicator that was shown above, and whenever you move them far away from each other, they will begin to not glow anymore and you are good to go back and attack the boss. Essentially, whenever you move these barrels, it causes less damage to be done to each other, and that allows you to not basically wipe, because whenever there's two or more, especially at the level 66 one and above, you tend to die, and that's basically what happens. Honestly, I don't know how it reaches the entire map whenever it's just two, but two you can tend to survive, but any more than two, no. But at the end of the day, you do want to move those barrels if it says it at the top at all. That is the first mechanic, and that mechanic will happen throughout the entire battle. So make sure that your squad is paying attention to that. You can assign people to these barrels. I would maybe assign healers, because this boss kind of essentially really only like attacks the tank. If your tank is good at deflecting and all that good jazz, so your tank can most likely decide to take on that damage while your healers go and grab the barrels, and the DPS can still be burning her down. Or you can just kind of have the DPSs and healers move the barrels and then just go back to attacking the boss. It's kind of up to you, whichever you want to do there, but that is the biggest thing about that mechanic, is just making sure that you're all on the same page and understanding what y'all are doing for that mechanic. And then biggest thing though for the tank is to make sure, if you are the tank, to stay away from the party or stay away from the barrels that are being moved, because you can get them hit by she can do damage to the people that are moving the barrels, causing them to drop the barrels, causing them and all that good jazz, and it just makes it more just affects them more, and you might as well just keep them away. That's your job as a tank. Just pull the boss away while they're moving the barrels. Keep the boss away from barrels overall. Alright, so the next mechanic will be the Summon Firebird mechanic. Essentially what this does is she summons a Firebird that you and the DPS need to burn down as fast as possible. The tank is once again to keep the boss away from it, so the DPS and healers can easily burn this thing down and get rid of it, because if its bar fills up at the bottom, it will then kill the entire party. Most of the time there will be maybe one or two people that survive, but it most of the time will kill the entire party. So your best bet is to go and burn that bird down as fast as possible. The bird does spawn with a couple of barrels, so it's people that are being targeted by the bird's AoEs, which will be marked in orange or kind of like this yellow color. They are to move away from the bird for the split second, because you don't want the barrels to pop on the bird and just basically wipe people over there. That's what you don't want to do, essentially. But that is the bird mechanic. It is very simple. Just make sure that you kill that bird as fast as possible before that timer fills up at the bottom, which is his like circle kind of increasing over time. Alright, so the Sea of Fire command, you get, for this one, you get two warnings. You get a Sea of Fire command and then a Sea of Fire. when it pops up. Your goal for this mechanic is to ensure that there are no highlighted barrels, that there are no red barrels. If there is one barrel connected to that sea of fire, the entire floor is hit, and it chains them in a way that it just does a catastrophic amount of damage, and you will wipe. This is where mostly everyone wipes. So your main goal is, for one, the tank is to pull the boss to the safe area already. The tank does not want the boss to be over there menacing and doing anything wrong over there. That is what you do not want your tank to do. You want your tank to pull them over there immediately, while the healer bring about one, maybe two healers to the tank, just in case they aren't perf blocking as they should. But for the most part, have all of DPS and everyone moving those barrels, because of that mechanic you will wipe 100%. And that's where a lot of people mess up. They don't understand what to do. But once you see that Sea of Fire command, just make sure that all of the barrels on the field are moved out of the way. During this phase, more barrels, as the Sea of Command thing is said, more barrels will drop. There will be barrels that drop with the command. So yeah, but if you also realized in the clip that was shown of the Sea of Fire command, ours is kind of empty. Our field is kind of empty because you can pop barrels or destroy barrels so that you have less on the field by, if you are targeted by that AoE that I was talking about previously, you can hit maybe one barrel. Don't hit two, just only hit one barrel, and you can destroy barrels and take that damage, and that will lessen the barrels on the field, which will give you an advantage during the Sea of Fire mechanic, which that is why ours kind of went so smoothly, is because we were already destroying barrels in the first place. Alright, the last mechanic is Severance, and Severance is typically an easy mechanic. Essentially, you can see a timer at the very, very top on her health bar, which it will be counting down, and you will also have to fight down this other health bar, this gold health bar, before that timer hits 0. If it hits 0, it is an entire squad wipe, and if you do it beforehand, then she kind of just moves back, or whatever the case may be, and the fight just normally continues. That is literally that mechanic, and that is it. There's nothing else to it. You just burn her down. It is essentially a DPS check. What you do need to look out for is, after that mechanic, is a bird spawns immediately, and a lot of people do not pay attention to that bird. So that is one thing that you need to look for. It spawns like literally right off the back, or even sometimes right before you break the shield. So just make sure you're paying attention to that bird so that you do not die. But essentially, the mechanics from this point on just repeat. Make sure you're looking for the bird. The bird will continue to spawn after the Severance, and it will spawn multiple times, and sometimes it's like kind of annoying how many times it spawns. But yeah, just make sure that what I would do is I would have somebody calling out when the bird spawns so that all the DPS know when to go. And like I said, tank continue to move the boss away from them and just proceed as forward, continue moving barrels throughout the fight, and then just burn her down into the very end. There will be one more Sea of Fire command, and you will burn her down. I think that a bird spawns after that Sea of Fire command, but if not, you just continue to burn her down and move forward. I appreciate you guys watching, and just please leave a like, and if you want me to do other guides for other bosses, please let me know.
don't talk anymore.